We are at the Museum of the Bayeux Tapestry, formerly a seminary. Beautiful area in Bayeux. Entrance to the museum and the welcome sign. Our guide giving directions outside the Museum of the Bayeux Tapestry. Beautiful tapestry made in 1077, honoring William the Conqueror, becoming King of England and Normandy. Now we're going to walk around this beautiful town of Bayeux. Hello. As we continue our tour of Bayeux, we aim toward the cathedral. Beautiful, magnificent architecture, surrounded by beautiful homes. And of course it's dedicated to Notre Dame. This is the bishop's house. We just recommend that people go see the tapestry before they get to the cathedral.
15th century, the central tower, but the front is 11th century. So it's got Romanesque and Gothic and Renaissance.
As we enter the church, we see the plan of the building. And now we'll go inside. These beautiful doors open up. Oh my God. This is the Cathedral of Bayeux. Little sculpture of St. Peter. Light pouring in from the beautiful windows. Here we are looking from the side altar into the great stained glass window. Now we'll go down to the crypt.
And here we are in Étretat, which is a seaside resort on the English Channel. The Impressionist painters used to visit here, especially Monet. The town itself, Étretat, is nestled between two cliffs of rocks. These cliffs, called les falaises in French, were often painted by Monet. You see it sticking out into the water there, beyond the arch, a straight vertical rock called the Needle, right? Again, part of many Impressionists. The beach here is a pebble beach, as are most of the beaches on the north coast of France, on the English Channel. Way up on top of the other cliff, you see a chapel dedicated to Our Lady, looking out over the sailors and the sea. This place is also very famous for its oysters, which are harvested in the sea near the cliffs, which, as I said, border the town on either side of the long pebble beach.
Here we are on Fleur, looking at slate houses across the bay. We're going to see the most famous church of St. Catherine here in Honfleur. Beautiful, characteristic town. Oop, people going by. That's an Honfleurette. Little photographer. As we enter the church, we see the plan of the building. And now we'll go inside. These beautiful doors open up. Oh my God. is the Cathedral of Bayeux. The sculpture of St. Peter. Light pouring in from the beautiful windows. Here we are looking from the side altar into the great stained glass window. Now we'll go down to the crypt.
And here we are in Étretat, which is a seaside resort on the English Channel. The Impressionist painters used to visit here, especially Monet. The town itself, Étretat, is nestled between two cliffs of rocks. These cliffs, called les falaises in French, were often painted by Monet. You see it sticking out into the water there. Beyond the arch, this great vertical rock called the Needle, right? Been part of many Impressionists. The beach here is a pebble beach, as are most of the beaches on the north coast of France, on the English Channel. Way up on top of the other cliff, you see a chapel dedicated to Our Lady, looking out over the sailors and the sea. This place is also very famous for its oysters, which are harvested in the sea near the cliffs, which, as I said, border the town on either side of the long pebble beach.
Here we are on Honfleur, looking at slate houses across the bay.
We are going to go to the right.
We're going
Then we are going
to see the most famous church of St. Catherine here in Honfleur. Beautiful, characteristic town. Oop, people going by. That's an Honfleurette. Little photographer. It's a parade. Little dog is in the parade. As we go along, seeing the governor's house that's being restored. Art galleries, shops, shopping. We're looking at a half-timbered church of St. Catherine. The marketplace. Activities galore.
Qu'est-ce que c'est comme poule?
Oop. They're looking for everybody. Church is here, and the tower is across the street here. Here we are in the church of St. Catherine in Honfleur. Looking around. Yeah. The guide is very happy. We haven't lost anybody on the tour. Looking to the choir loft. We continue as we see the ceiling. Church was made by wood carpenters who were used to making ships. So it looks like the inside of a ship, totally in timber. Location where salt was stored in ancient times. We're going toward the Petite Le Boucherie, little butcher. Typical boucherie of the Middle Ages, narrow street town, gutter in the middle. Cozy little town. This could be dark and dangerous at night.
Like today,
Guys.
originally you don't enter the buildings very often. So you know what they do? They use a big board as a shutter, and in the morning when they are ready to open the shop, they use the same shutter, the board, as a counter. So they put it down, and then when you buy, you stay here, and the people are inside. So, you know, people, they don't have the same pleasure as today when they buy, because they have to go fast, or they know where to go, etc. And at the same time, it's good. So otherwise, the other way is to go to the market, because
Tight buildings, cozy, built one next to another. And there's the church.
you see the narrow street, which is not really loud, but for the people it was the way to go along the church.
So we made the little tour around the whole basin. We started at a church and we end at this little church here. As we continue into Mont Saint-Michel, we've entered the gates, the ramparts, famous restaurant, Le Nerf Polar, and her little gift shop. Tons of little gift shops and wonderful things to see and do as we get closer to the Abbey. The bells are welcoming us as we tour the little town of Saint-Michel. We're going down the hill and then we'll go up the hill. Look in the stores, the beauty of this little narrow medieval town and famous tourist location. Here we are on the top of Saint-Michel, looking onto the bay. Here's Myrna. The bells are ringing and the wind is blowing. Looking through the ramparts to the bay. Oop, they're waiting for us. We are on the very top of the Abbey, steeple of St. Michael, way up there. Huge terrace. We're going to go peek into the church as we get closer. during the equinox tides, the bridge covered with waters. And now we're going back onto the terrace. Here we are on the top terrace, overlooking the bay, slowly coming up. Now we see the entrance of the church, which was rebuilt several times, most recently in the 18th century. We're back into the church. We're looking at the back. Take a nice tour of the old church. Service going on in the sanctuary. We're here during the service, which gives us the reality of the active church. Various elements, of course the Romanesque arches, the round ones. Outside we saw more Gothic, wooden ceiling, very reminiscent of the Norman style. The window way in the sanctuary of the church, behind the ambulatory, has a Gothic element to it. No stained glass, clear glass in the windows. Here's our guide whispering to us instructions. And the clear story. Here we are in the cloister, noticing all the stone columns. Very hard granite, and this stone is from Caen, which is a little easier to carve, not as hard as the granite. We are in the cloisters.
You know what happened during the Revolution? They hammered many of those statues, so that's why they are like this. But instead of making copies, they kept the very original ones.
Here we are in the open-air cloister, beautifully organized.
If there is no sign of royalty or religious sign, it was not destroyed. What people destroyed was everything which was
Outside.
related to
A little cold out
or
there.
even royal. I mean, everything which was linked with the king or the church. Now, you know
All
that
symbols that were destroyed sometimes during the Revolution.
From monos in Greek, it means alone. So normally monks are by themselves. It means that, of course, they are in their community, but they receive, for instance, here, people, pilgrims. And they work also, sometimes even in the fields. They also, for some others, write the manuscripts. So they have to be active.
Monks
They pray,
wrote manuscripts here, gathered here,
they have to work.
communicated with each other here.
Themselves, they go to the cloister. And the cloister is like this, with four wings. The garden is unfortunately we don't know how it was the garden, but we know that in the ages in some gardens there were herbs, and it could have been the chapter house where the monk was reading the chapter of the Bible. And here there is a little door. There was a little room over here in the archives of the Mont Saint-Michel. All the other papers, all the land, they were owning and everything. So that was very precious. And you know that.
Here we are in the refectory, which was the dining room, beautiful floor, and it's a huge building, arched ceiling. This place seated around 60 monks, part of the community. Narrow windows between each of the columns to bring light into the room. Main dining room table, and of course all the monks would sit here along the side tables. And John is standing as the server to serve the food the younger monks would serve. Beautiful arches, very Gothic, tall, narrow. This is the sculpture of Bishop Auvert being told by St. Michael to build the abbey. He did it 3 times, and the 3rd time he hit him on the head with his finger. And we have the skull of St. Auvert preserved as the group proceeds down. Oh, more steps. Another level. We're okay. Except for not breathing, but it's a beautiful experience. Here we are in a room with 2 huge fireplaces. This room would have been a guest room to greet guests and sometimes feed them as monastery visits. People would come. And this area was the toilet. Huge room. And of course the walls would have been covered with tapestries, which are all gone, as of the French Revolution. Somebody did something in 1818 here and signed it. 19th century graffiti. The group is out. We're in the crypt, right under the main altar, being held up by these huge columns. And this marks where the altar is. Above us, air channels. More Gothic later architecture. Here we have a little statue of Mary. I'm taking a picture. Turn around. This is the chapel of Saint Martin, 11th century. Many chapels around this abbey, one of many. And this room could have been turned into a cistern. It's completely protected, so it would collect all the rain if needed. This wall, this door would have been walled up and filled with water. And that would have been the entrance into this room if they ever needed it as a cistern, the chapel of Saint Martin, popular French saint. 6 men would run this treadmill to bring up the food from outside. They would roll it along here. That's a good idea. And of course the food would be shipped up from this area way down below.
And actually this treadmill dates back to the 19th century when it was a prison. So that's the original one, but not the very, very original one, but it's original in a way because it was made when this was a prison.
This treadmill was adapted when this became a prison, 19th century. It holds 6 men to turn it. It's one of the men who are running it.
You know, it's running, then it's really okay. It's easier than you think, especially 6 men. Now, there's something, well, everybody's looking down, and you're right. There's something special over there. It's actually the ossuary. So you remember what I was telling you
the
about
bone,
cooking
what's the area was over here?
to have the flesh
Let's
on
go
top and
peek.
bone on the other side. So the flesh was taken down to the cemetery, and the bones
Oop, that was the head. This This is the ossuary. Can't see it. The bones are put down there. And look at the offerings. Here we are going down to another chapel. Beautiful little chapel. Of course, a few more steps. He's telling us to be careful. Here we are, gathering. Madonna Pietà. I guess the remnants of fresco.
The very first church built over here was actually dedicated to Saint Stephen.
This is the chapel of Saint Stephen, Saint-Etienne.
Anyway, there is now just a little church. There is a reason. It's because
next to this chapel,
it collapsed.
behind the
There's no more building,
door,
but they used to have the
collapsed, so
infirmary.
that's where the
So
infirmary
it was the last place where monks were taken when they were ill, and it's where the monk usually was dying.
monk.
I mean, there is that it's one of the first 12th century Gothic rooms.
This is one of the first 12th century Gothic rooms in this area. Okay, we just descended to another large room, another gathering room, again with the Gothic arches, beautifully lit, natural windows, walkways. This is the room of the night, Chevalier room. Chevalier from the word horse, cheval. This could also have been the scriptorium, two big fireplaces, and a monk standing right there. Now we're going to the gift shop. Behind these little doors are sections that are open that fly right down to the earth. It's the toilet. Bright room, nice big fireplaces to keep them warm while they made their scriptures in manuscripts. Okay, we're at the end of our tour of the Abbey. We're stopping for lunch, a light quiche and a croque monsieur at this nice little restaurant. French music on. And the menu. So we're getting croque monsieur and quiche Lorraine. And we've done the tour of Abbey Mont Saint-Michel. We are in Rouen, R-O-U-E-N, and the guide is showing us the architecture, approaching the cathedral, the Corbel, which is an indented area.
This kind of building on this side, and then same on the other side. It's even darker. And as I was saying, the roofs can be really near to each other, and fire can go from the side to
Cobblestone
the next. You know, it
streets,
happened very often.
indented
This
in the
city,
center
like many
for
others,
trash,
was partly destroyed
based
by
on
big
the
fires
ancient
several times.
process of throwing trash out the window.
Francis I, King of France,
As we approach Rouen Cathedral de Notre Dame.
and otherwise, you know that the
Architecture.
British invaded Normandy.
This town, of course, was invaded by the
They
Germans,
stayed till almost
especially
the
the
end of
bridges.
war, which is 15th century. And you know how they were in the late 15th century, early 16th 16th
Late 15th century.
And it's a late Gothic style that we call, as you probably know, flamboyant. So the very late Gothic style has a very elaborate decor which looks like lace and with flames in it. That's why we call it flamboyant. Now we are going to be able to see it better, as I was telling you, but we first go around this
Flamboyant Gothic style, based on the style of architecture and the decor of the church.
So that's why this church was built at a time
The
when
architect
Renaissance
of the
already
rear end of the
existed,
church,
but they built only
the
this
Marian Chapel,
half of it here.
flying buttresses, with the addition of more Renaissance architecture later on in the 15th century.
And it was very much inspired by the
Notre Dame de
ancient times, Greek Roman.
Rouen. The atmosphere. A group growing across the street. And the atmosphere. Walking into the sunshine in these very timber cement houses. We're in the courtyard of Saint Maclou, an ancient courtyard built in the 16th century. Old timbers. This is a former cemetery, which is Courtyard Saint Maclou, which we visited years ago. Now we're back. This used to be a cemetery. People are all buried. And then the bones were removed to another place. And we see in the distance the tower of the cathedral.
But you know, in a bakery, for instance, there is always a cat to eat nuts. Oh yes. Even the rats eat it.
The church of Saint Maclou, right across from the cathedral. Slowly, in this little area, the cathedral is right across the street there. You see the tower. So we're in Saint Maclou, or Saint Malo. Here we go. Some of the windows were replaced after the war. Staircase going up to the choir loft. Okay, so we've made it to the cathedral after our stop at Bayeux. We are at the cathedral, Notre Dame de Rouen, 13th century, and it was 4 churches here before. We'll go inside and see the ornate architecture. Top tower, 19th century. Looks like those coplands. We are at the entrance of the cathedral, Notre Dame de Rouen. Lacework, flamboyant architecture, the main piazza in front of it, the stores,